Let's bring up those live visuals for you. We can see the South African delegation has just entered the meeting room where we're expecting the South African government to meet with some of their counterparts from China. And there are some of the familiar faces for you. You can see Pak Stau, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Khumbuzo Ntshavheni. She, of course, is the Minister in the Presidency. Stella Ndabeni-Abrahams, Small Business Minister. I beg your pardon. Mameloko Kubai, Bladen Zamande. You can see there Dr. Cyril Ramaphosa. And an interesting dynamic this time around, of course, is that we're living in the times of a GNU. So you're seeing DA deployed ministers, if you like, including Public Works Minister there, Dean McPherson, who's also present. The President of South Africa is also obviously going to be there. He's expected to have an engagement with Xi Jinping, his counterparts in China, and they're expected to have a wide range of discussions. We're told a major announcement on trade relations and other global political issues is expected sometime today. Still no telling, of course, what that looks like and what it entails. What we do know, of course, at the moment is that China is South Africa's biggest trading partner, billions of rand trading hands, if you like, between the two nations. And so there's plenty at stake to make sure that we get this right. And so that's why we'll be watching this very closely. It also comes off on the eve of the China Cooperation Summit, which is going to also unfold. That's what we're expecting about 50 countries on the continent to be represented. They'll be in discussions with the People's Republic of China in order to also enhance these multilateral relations. Well, the dynamic as it stands is a bit of an interesting one. Depending who you ask, there are people who believe that the trading partnership isn't necessarily on level field. China apparently having some kind of advantage, at least insofar as the arrangements are concerned at the moment. What has taken place in the past is that China has asked countries on the continent to buy more goods from this nation in exchange for massive infrastructure investments. You know, we've often heard of buildings and bridges being built across the continent off of Chinese dollars. And the concern that had always been raised on the other side of those trade relations is the soft power that China ultimately will have on these nations on the continent. And as I speak about that, there's always concerns around any kind of scramble for Africa that might be taking place in a context where we know, of course, in many instances, there's no love lost between China and the West. And so China is hoping to move in, some people might say, on Africa before the West does, in an effort to also increase their global hegemonic hold, some critics might say. So there we are, stationed for you inside Beijing, or inside that meeting room that is in Beijing, as we anticipate, of course, some of the people who are going to be part of these discussions to finally let us in on what exactly it is they're going to be speaking about. Sophie Mokoena is part of our team. She, of course, is SABC News international editor, watching things at a much closer vantage point. Sophie, what are you able to see?
The largest trading partner of South Africa. And South Africa is also the largest trading partner of China on the continent. This state visit comes ahead of the important gathering of African heads of state and government of the continent and China. As you know, that China and Africa launched what we call a forum for China-Africa cooperation, and this meeting often takes place after 3 years, and in terms of the host, the meeting does rotate between China and Africa. Any African country would then host that summit. The intention is to ensure that this cooperation is not seen as a perhaps important interaction between Africa and China, but with China dominating what is happening. And as you can see, the heads of states are about to attend. And over to you in studio. Can you carry on?
All right, that's our Sophie Mokoena, who is speaking there from inside that particular meeting venue. We spoke about the China-Africa Cooperation Summit, which is also likely to take place. And there's a few issues to be considered here. As mentioned before, 50 African heads of states are likely to be present as part of the summit. It's not the first of its kind. It's actually taken place for quite some time. And already there's reporting around whether or not this will be an easy sitting in a context where China still has unfulfilled projects projects, we're told, in the region of billions of dollars. Railway infrastructure, we're told, that China hasn't necessarily seen through from the last time they met back in 2021. I imagine some African heads of states will want to be tabling some of those concerns before any new pledges are made and other commitments are put on the table. But no matter where you lie on the debate, this is certainly a high-stakes meeting for not only the People's Republic of China, but certainly for many of the African countries that are going to be present at this particular meeting, given some of the potential that lies insofar as trade is concerned. Africa's biggest two-way lender and investments as well, that's how China is being described. It's a trade partner that's moving away from funding big-ticket projects in this resource-rich continent of ours, preferring rather instead to sell its, the advancement of green technologies and some of that kind of innovation as they continue with their own deliberations. Once again, some of the familiar faces you can see: John Steenhuisen, the Minister of Agriculture, flanked by Public Works Minister Dean McPherson. Dr. Cyril Ramaphosa is also there, the Electricity and Energy Minister in this country. Of course, energy featuring very prominently when we speak about green energy and technologies. Also there, Park Stow, Kumbuzo Nchabeni, Stella Ndebeni Abrams, Mamuluku Kubai, Blade Nzimande, and Ronald Lamola we can also spot there. We're keeping a very close eye on the situation as it unfolds in Beijing, and we'll tell you all about it in just a moment. But